And now, our feature presentation.
The best way to get a salmon cooked perfectly is you have to just sear it on all sides, but only for like a whopping minute.
French fries. What's the deal?
I went raw, like all my whole life. Did you ever have that sock when you were growing up that you used for those, adolescent activities?
Stuff down at the bottom of the hamper like it's been there forever?
Hello, welcome to another episode of It Sure Is a Podcast. This episode, I'm holding the mic in my hand because I'm wild and crazy.
I'm still boring and dry white, so mine is on the board in front of me.
And this podcast, we're all about dropping the hard facts. And the reason they call it sand is because it is in between the land and the sea. And that's how we get sand.
Is that really it?
I don't know. It sounds convincing.
It sounded
though.
really convincing.
But like there's sand in other places too, maybe. Also, I'm sucking down to Truly after I just ran 8 miles, so.
I am not, but that is only because my heart rate is screwed up because I drank quite heavily the past 2 days.
Hell yeah, drinking heavily.
I'm going to drink heavily tonight. I'm just trying to get my heart rate like down below 95.
Right, you're just
resting.
You're just trying to just level yourself out before you go back in there.
It's been a week.
It has been a week.
But you know what? You are. I'm horrible at this. But this podcast is about positivity. Laughter. Love. Kindness.
Except for old white people. Get out.
Yeah, I hate myself.
Move down to Florida and hop into your oak box.
Everybody's like...
Get 8 feet in the ground.
Florida's going to be gone in 20 years. I'm like, can we up that time frame?
You'll probably hear me drinking this Truly, and I apologize. Yeah, I think what we should do is just throw all the old people down there. Like, as soon as you hit the age of, what's considered, I would even say, like, close to 60. You hit 60, you go down to this island, and it's kind of like one of those, like, you remember that movie, The Island? With all the clones of the people, and they would grow them, and then
With Ewan McGregor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and they would take the organs.
Wasn't that based off of Logan's Run?
Sort
or similar?
Yeah, it was like a collection of short stories, like Logan's Run. That was a book. One of them, The Island, or like one of them was a short story that they turned into. And speaking of Ewan McGregor, before we get into have you watched Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I am not. I am saving it.
For what?
Until I'm sober enough to watch it. I was definitely drunk yesterday and be like, oh, that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio holding the beer and the cigarette, that was me. I was like, Obi-Wan!
Obi-Wan! Yeah.
And my wife's like, no.
No.
And I was like, oh, dude, okay.
She's not a Star Wars person, is she?
She does like Star Wars. She's not as big a fan as like we are, but she does like we've been watching all the shows that are on. She likes those.
I watched Rogue One yesterday once again. I forgot.
Aren't they doing like a prequel to that?
Oh, I don't know what Star Wars is, because Star Wars is in a weird place where kind of the last episode we talked about, video games and the TV show. And I honestly think Star Wars, they're hitting it, and they're hitting it good with the TV show format.
Oh, and that's what the past few movies, or I should say the main storyline movies, have kind of fell off because they all suck and they succumb to just fan theories. I think their original stories that they had planned would have been awesome, but people complained. They went against everything canonically ever on those main movies. So all the side stories and all these TV shows are knocking it out of the park because no one cares about the Jedi anymore.
And it was Off the Air podcast. I listened to the episode before I guest starred on there. And they talked about The Last Jedi, and they were like, that was the best Star Wars-y movie that they had for a long time. And I was like, yes! We have more brothers!
The second one? The second one?
Yeah, The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, it wasn't good writing. It wasn't... but Star Wars aren't known for good writing. Let's get that out of here.
No, they're good for, like, grand theories and stuff.
I will say that it's good for good writing on the episodes, the TV shows. Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So far, pretty cool.
Obi-Wan, isn't that like a little bit darker?
Yeah, Riva though. You'll when you watch, you'll meet Riva, and Riva's just annoying. I understand what they're trying to create the character as, but I hate that character
Did you
archetype.
watch the animated show?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The Clone Wars, I should
Mm-hmm.
say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, have you watched the Book of Boba Fett?
Mm-hmm.
They brought Bane in. I was fanboying when he was walking
Yeah.
up and I was talking to Kate, and then I just stopped mid-sentence. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "It's him! It's the guy! It's the hat! I see it!"
It's
And then
Cad
I saw the
Bane!
little tubes coming out, and I was like, "It's Bane! It's Bane! It's Bane!" She's like, "Is he a character?" I am like, "He is God!"
I love that they're bringing from the successful like cartoon shows. They're bringing characters from that, and
They brought Ahsoka in. They're bringing that.
Ahsoka's gonna have her own show, which that'll be interesting. But I don't think I'll. And honestly, the Book of Boba Fett, it only got good when Mando showed up. I'll be honest.
I liked the first few
It
episodes.
wasn't. It's not bad. It's just if you get another Mandalorian and you compare it to the Mandalorian show, you can't compare because it's very slow tempoed, and they also spent way too much on
His
the Tuscan
backstory?
people, which I understand, but you could have knocked that out of the park with one or two episodes, just a little longer episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By episode 3, I'm like, is this the whole show that we're just gonna always get this?
I do have to I did like it. I actually thought it was really cool to see more into their culture.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
before everybody was like, they're just animals. And it's like, no, they're people. They're a little bit more savage maybe than like the rest of that, but there's reasons for it.
Yeah.
They were there from the beginning. They have still survived, and
I think the biker gang that Boba hires, that's stupid. They're stupid. They're all
that was the
stupid.
one thing I didn't
I
like
want them
about the
all
show.
dead, especially in that meme going around of the guy who does the he's helping carry the Wookiee, which I thought the Wookiee was cool, like the assassin that tried to kill him.
I didn't
and then
see
he's
the
like,
entirety of the last episode.
well,
I
it's
will
not the
say
last
that.
episode. It's that Wookiee, whatever his name is,
Yeah, but who's
with the like the white streaks, like he's like the
Yeah,
silver fox looking guy.
Oh yeah, I know the Wookiee you're talking about. He was cool.
Yeah, he is cool. But there's a scene where they're carrying him, and this guy like just does this random pointless spin to shoot a gun, and it like misses when he shoot. No, it does hit, but like right before he it just
The mods. They're called the mods.
yeah.
They're a bunch of teen angsty little shits who ride Vespas.
Yeah, they all need to be just.
They're just.
They need out.
They're on those. They were trying to make it so cool, like in the car chase scene.
Yeah,
And I was like, you're all on futuristic speeders going 15 miles an hour. You're literally on a scooter. Like, you can't. This isn't cool. This isn't cool.
It isn't.
Stop it.
It isn't
hurts.
cool.
It hurts.
Yeah, I don't know why they're trying to appeal to, I don't know, cool kids or.
But they're not cool.
Yeah, they're not cool. And also, if you're watching Star Wars, you're not cool. But also, if you're watching Star Wars, you want something badass. You don't want.
But it's
the
such
biker kids from down the block.
And I agree with you. Like these TV shows, they're going a little bit. I mean, they still have their levity, which is awesome, but they're not afraid to go a little bit darker. If you think about the Star Wars universe, it is horrifying.
It kind of is, yeah. And
The opening scene in one of the movies is a planet getting blown up. Billions of people are dead in the blink of an eye. That's genocide.
And especially watching Rogue One again.
Oh,
that
was such a good movie.
I was watching that again while I was doing it's a mode in RuneScape called Pest Control, and it takes like to get all the gear from it takes a very long time. So I literally just to train up a skill, level it up twice, which is ranged, and ranged is complete ass. It took the entire movie. And that movie was 2 hours and 15 minutes around there. And it took 2 hours and 15 minutes to increase my level of range twice.
I think they are doing a prequel because they're going to show more about like the spies in the Resistance, like the boots on the ground people in the Resistance.
I hope. Are they doing a
that
movie or a TV show? Because I would probably prefer a TV show.
I don't honestly remember. I just remember reading something about it, and they were talking about this upcoming something to Rogue One.
And
Is it pre? I can't remember if it's before or after. I might be after because it might be Rogue Squadron.
Rogue
So I
Squadron,
could
maybe.
Something in that in that storyline though is coming.
Okay. And I know that the TV shows, just Lucas Films, LucasArts, they just need to do TV shows because that's where they're killing
Well,
it.
it's Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau single-handedly saved both the Marvel universe and the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
If he doesn't make like millions from Disney, like
Oh,
he saved everybody's nerddom.
he really did. Also, speaking of Marvel, have you watched Moon Knight yet?
No.
Okay,
I've
so
heard
hold on.
mixed reviews.
Let me take a sip of my Truly before I get on this. I almost choked on that while trying to do a gag and put the mic close. Okay, so the show's pretty neat. I will say that. I don't know where the budget is though. There's a lot of
budget?
there's a lot of animated stuff, and I know Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. They have so much money. They have fuck you money. They have fuck me money. I don't know how an entire corporation would show up to a house and fuck us, but like, there would be a way. That's how much money they have,
When
right?
people talk about the Illuminati, I honestly think of Amazon, Disney, and whatever Elon's bullcrap thing is.
Whatever he's on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's just the animation and the CGI is not up to par to like anything else.
I honestly think they did it because people probably asked for it, but because isn't that supposed to be like a really brutal, violent superhero or like story-ish?
I don't know anything about it, but already they're doing the thing where it's like, oh, you're killing people. Stop. I'm like, there's bad people in the world, and they probably shouldn't be.
Do you not
in the
know
world
what
anymore.
superheroes do? They kill bad guys.
Yeah. But,
Unless you're Batman, and I know
no,
that's
they
DC.
They don't kill the super villains. They kill all the cronies and the lackeys and the people on there, but they won't kill the super villain.
your life. You just killed 30 people to get to me.
Exactly, and those people had families. You definitely
Yeah.
know those people had families. And
did you see? I think we had talked about the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, they were just killing people all the time in there, and I'm like, I'm waiting for people. That was too violent. Are you gonna take this out of the movie? No, because it's important that you watch her lose her mind and kill people.
Yes, murder, especially. I definitely, after watching that, I can't eat those Twizzlers peel aparts anymore. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think I still could. I won't lie.
Those are pretty damn good though.
Um,
Yeah, it's the CGI quality is really not good. And I'm not saying that makes the show, but Marvel set a standard through all of their stuff that it's something that when you notice it, you really notice it.
Well,
and especially coming from Marvel, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, they could have done it. There was a reason they didn't do it. Why didn't they not?
Again, and we were just talking about all the Star Wars shows and stuff. They rely heavily on CGI for that, and
definitely.
No, and like you said, it's sometimes you can forgive it a little bit, but I mean,
and also you can forgive it if it's a product of the time. If you watch an old, like, all right, the other night I got a little nostalgic and was watching the old Beast Wars. You ever watch that? Transformers Beast Wars,
No.
CGI animated show where the Transformers, it was kind of after their adventures from the cartoons, but or it's like a alternate telling of the original story where instead of landing on Earth and becoming cars and stuff, they landed on Earth during the prehistoric era. So they
became fucking dinosaurs
and animals and stuff. They scanned them and they were like, oh, it's a gorilla. But then the gorilla, Optimus Prime was a gorilla, but then he would transform into like a robot gorilla man. And that's from the 90s. So that's a product of its time. But this is 2022, 2021, 2020, and it was probably filmed there. And I do understand that probably COVID did affect, the filming and stuff. But also a lot of the CGI work, I do have a little bit of a background in this and understand how it works. It's just a bunch of nerds sitting in a room. Now, I appreciate it. Do not think I always credit the animators for stuff like this because they work hard, but they're all just sitting in a room working on putting this together.
But that's what I was going to say, because Marvel, I should say Disney is so big now, I almost wonder if they don't have enough talent to work on it all. Like if you have multiple projects going at once.
Okay, I didn't even think of that perspective. It's just a good perspective. Staffing.
They probably were just like, hey, you're getting the B team on this for like the CGI portion because like we don't have the staff and the talent to do this.
But Moon Knight's good. It's enjoyable. I've been really enjoying watching it. I'm halfway through the season 1. It's like I said, it's fine. You notice that. You really notice that. And it kind of pulls you out of the experience just because Marvel set a standard. If you set the standard high, everyone's going to expect that standard.
I just gotta point out that's why Lord of the Rings is the greatest movie series of all time, is because they limited their CGI to as little as possible. It was all real actors.
Yes. I will.
I'm sorry, I had to get my
Dude,
Karen
I will watch a
voice.
movie and I will stand for a movie that, limits CGI because that shows they put in work and effort. Like,
But
all
the
right, let
thing
me throw it
too
out there.
is,
The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, I will, fanboy about this show forever. All puppets. It looks amazing. You cannot recreate that in CGI. I don't care what you tell
but
me.
that's what the other day we were just I don't even remember. She was watching a show. It was late. I didn't was too tired to play a video game because I'm an old white guy. But I put on Lord of the Rings. Just I was like, you know what? I haven't actually watched this in a while.
It
I'm just
still
gonna.
looks amazing.
It holds up because it's so.
The Hobbit doesn't, but the Lord of the Rings did.
I don't want to. The only cool thing about those movies was the Dwarven Army, because I have decided that if I ever were to actually exist in that universe, I would probably be a dwarf.
Well, the first two are really good.
I'm short, I'm fat, I'm hairy, I like dark, cool areas. I would like to wield a battle axe. I like to drink. I'd probably just be a dwarf.
You would be a fantastic dwarf.
I know.
You cover all the points. It's just the height. You're too tall. How dare you be that tall?
I'm tall here, but I am also short compared to a lot of other people.
Okay, yeah.
Even though I am technically above average height, I am still kind of short.
Yeah.
I'm 5'10".
Well, what you need to do is just chop out your thighs and just have them like bring your legs down and
just pull the
attach them
cotton.
cotton
Cotton
from King
Hill.
of the Hill. Yeah. Just pull one of those and then you'll be a dwarf. You'll walk a little funny, but you'll be a dwarf.
Although I would have to grow my beard back out. As we've stated, I've got a little bit more of a professional.
You do have a professional
now.
look, but it looks.
I hacked
you have a
my hair
professional
off,
look,
hacked my
but
beard
it
off.
looks very nice. You look very suave.
I'm now up in the offices about half the time because they noticed I do a lot of computer work, and they're like, "We will raise you up out of the mud, and you may now play in the clouds with us in the offices."
But you must clean up yourself. You look homeless.
I mean, I definitely looked homeless the first few days I was in those offices. When I was looking around, I was like, maybe I should shave and get a haircut.
With my job, it's kind of weird because I'm kind of a satellite of this place, and everyone's super professional, and I follow the dress code and stuff because of their policy and just showing them respect, right? Because we're working together, but I'm a satellite within their building, and most days I just come in dressed up like a homeless guy. My hair is just crazy, and I'm just bags under my eyes. I'm like, ugh.
To be fair, this was all I made all of these choices just personally. I'm still out on the floor a lot. Like I'm still doing. I'm still wandering around and stuff, so I'm not going to show up in full business dress because
definitely not.
If I'm out working with parts or other stuff, I could get potentially very dirty, and I'm not going to ruin nice clothes. So I try to, like you're saying, I try to hit like that middle ground of.
Right,
I'm somewhat presentable for the offices, but I'm still comfortable, and I don't mind as much going out and doing my
exactly business casual. Yeah,
jeans and I just got a bunch of collared shirts in. It's like twice a year they offer people to buy
what shirts?
Logo apparel.
Like
just
a
apparel.
polo with like the logo in the corner. You're talking about?
Okay. With their business logo and stuff on it. I'm sorry, I can't think, guys.
And
this is also probably super boring.
And I was about to say we just derailed off the topic, which it's a perfect time for me to get the cleaver and just cut it off and tell you the insane morning I just had, which I was bring up to you briefly. So, okay, it's we're recording on a Sunday.
Wait, that was this morning?
Yeah, that was all this morning.
Oh.
So, okay. So
I thought this was like during
all right,
the
so
week.
there's a little bit of context I have to throw out there. So,
or not.
No, it's better if I do because it's just gonna be bizarre. Okay. So recently, this one girl and I, we were, chatting, kind of smooching every once in a while, just feeling at the water, but not being irresponsible adults. As I say, irresponsible adults. Just, testing the waters to see if we're interested, right? And then out of nowhere one day, she's just kind of like, I can't do this, don't want to do this right now, and then just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. And I sent a message, I'm like, I would have preferred to do this in person, but I was very adult about it. I'm like, It seems like you got stuff going on. I totally understand. I've been there once before. I just hope you figure yourself out, and I hope everything's okay. And I left it at that, right? I did the adult thing, right? Usually people would point fingers and be like, well, you know what? You're a this and you're a that.
You
No.
didn't say you were going to Africa?
Yeah, no, not this time. I definitely learned my lesson this time. I'm not like, well, you know what? I'm going to Africa, so
Call back, baby.
I'm going to Africa, so suck a fart out of my butt. All right,
I
see you
wish
later.
I knew the episode number to reference you listeners to, but if you
Dude,
can't...
that was like the beginning of season 2, so find it somewhere in there.
Oh, that was such a good episode. I think
Yeah.
I screamed into the mic like a little girl. I was laughing so hard.
I've learned my lesson on that stuff comes back to bite you in the butt, and that was the most real experience I had. So all right, there's context for that. It shows up later in the story. So I've been running. I've been working. I'm actually at the point where I'm in a very comfortable weight, and I'm like, I just want to get shredded now. That's what I want to start working
We've
on.
mentioned it before, but you are looking very good. You are a solid like 6 inches taller than I am, and I bet you weigh less than me now.
I recently had family from the step side of the family come into town, and they looked at me and they were like I don't know what relation it would be. It would be the mother and father of the of my step brother. So whatever you want to step. How does this family? Man, it's truly hitting hard. How does this family work? So my sister married her husband. So what relation is that? Me to
Your
him?
brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law. Thank you.
Were you saying stepbrother?
I said stepbrother.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I was like, Brandon, I don't. Did your parents like have kids before they got married?
No. They were happily married and just shitty to us children.
I do have to point out in context, you were like, you said the step thing. You're like, yeah, the step side of the family. And I had one of them come in and they were looking at me. I was like, dang, dude, are you applying for Pornhub or something? I know that step sibling stuff's pretty big right now.
I don't know where the step thing came from. And as soon as they said it, I'm like, that is not right. We got to fix this right now.
Just like,
brother-in-law.
Damn, this Truly's hitting hard.
They are. It is the single one. There's just one. Also, I haven't taken my medicine today, so everything hits a little harder. Okay, so with it would be my brother-in-law, and then it would be his parents. What would that? Would that be like
your brother-in-law's parents? I honestly don't. Or your sister's in-laws, I guess.
In-laws, yeah. I don't know. I know. Well, obviously, I don't know anything because I'm like stammering. I'm like, oh, step bro, what are you doing?
Your sister married your stepbrother.
Yeah, no, it's I apologize. So
Weird
they came in and they looked at me and they're like, you look really different. Like, what did you do? And I explained the whole story. I'm like, yo, keto, getting ripped, getting jacked, boning bitches. And the last part wasn't true. And literally, they were like, you just like, you're looking better. And the wife, they call her Honey. She actually has a name, but like the kids, how every family has their own tradition of, all right, call grandma, Grammy, Nana, Gam. Go through that whole list, but
little
Honey,
whore.
Little.
I'm sorry.
Is that what you called your grandma?
Hey, you little whore, how you doing?
Grandpa, little whore. I haven't seen you in so long.
Oh, that would be terrible.
Yeah, so she was like, I knew you were overweight, but I didn't think it was that bad. When I told her, like, basically at the end of the day, I've lost 100 pounds.
Yeah, but you also didn't look like you look good now. Yes, but it's not like you looked like you were. You weren't a Hermaeus Mora walking around. How you talking like this?
Or I'm not strolling around looking like a brood mother.
You're like 6'5". You were like 6'5", or you were like are 6.
I'm right in between 6'3" and 6'4".
The point is, you were super tall, so
Yeah.
taller people just have more mass. It just happens.
They have more. And at that comment, I was like, okay, bitch. And I was just kind of moving on to talking to her husband. I didn't say that to her because I think her head would explode because she's, Southern Baptist type. So
Those are the best.
I would
ones.
have to clean up the mess of a head exploding, and I didn't want to do that.
Oh, do you think that's improper? let's push these boundaries.
Yeah, let's push the boundaries. I'm gonna get really
I have an
close to you.
extremely Catholic side of my family, and it takes everything in me not to walk in and be like, "Hail Satan!"
And all like the oldest one starts having a seizure and just implodes right on the couch.
My grandmother might have a seizure if I walked in and said that. I
Yeah,
think it
that's
might overload her senses.
exactly. That's the overloading of the senses. So, all right. So where was I going with this? I don't know. So all right, they said, okay, lost a lot of weight. Awesome. Moving on. So that was kind of giving context of I've been working at this really hard for a long time. So I go for a run this morning. I message you. I'm like, hey, did it have to be exactly 10? Because I'm getting to the beach where I like to run right around 9:30 somewhere in there. And you're like, no, it's fine. Okay. So I get there and I park and I hop out and I do my stretches and pop my ankles out of place and make sure my knee's not going to explode.
I do have to interject really, really fast. You said, okay, I'm running through IKK, be there. Does IKK stand for something?
No, it's a typo.
Okay.
It's
I'm not kidding. I looked at Kate and I was like, I'm old. Is this slang? And she's like, no, I don't think so. And I looked it up online.
I'm full of typos. Let me see what just the context. Let me read it real quick. Scroll down, scroll down.
I do. There is a point for me doing this interjection, but I just
Okay,
wanted to-
I'm running. Okay, I'm running through. I'll be there. I'll be. Okay, so apparently my brain was just shutting off, and I was like drunk before I even knew I was drunk. All right, so what it was supposed to say was, okay, I'm running. So I don't know when I'll be there. For some reason, I just combined through IKK and be there. And I was expecting you to say, okay, I'm running. I'll let you know when I'll be there.
Okay. I figured it was something along those lines. That's why I was just like, all right, let me know. But I'm so old and white. I looked it up online and I was like, IKK. They're saying here that stands for I know karate. I'm like, is he trying to fight? Is this gonna be like some high noon 80s I'ma fight you thing? Like what?
I just show up to your house in, the traditional karate gear with
In
a
the
black
gi?
belt. Yeah. And I'm just standing there like ready to fight and I'm screaming outside your house like, Eric! I am Brandon!
I have come for my vengeance. I'm just like,
And your
dude, what did I
neighbors-
do?
Your neighbors are sticking their heads out like, what the hell's going on?
I'm just getting my ass beat by you in the front yard.
And I'm just,
Did you learn your lesson? No, I don't know what I did.
what did I do? And I'm just like punch you like the Batman, pretty much that fighting style, the
Yeah,
new
just
one.
beaten to a pulp.
Yeah, it was, and in that movie, it wasn't even like a karate style. He just beat the snot out of people.
Yeah, that was just street fighting. He was just like,
and everyone's just like street
I'm
fighting.
an
Yeah,
angry teen.
so
I'm
all
gonna
right, I
beat
hop
you.
out, do my stretches, all that, and there, the vehicle pulls up next to me. This is at the beach, so there's a lot of parking, and I hate that when people pull up next to you because also I went to the bathroom before I went on my run.
Ooh.
And I'm at the urinal and a guy stands right next to me when there are 4 options. And also I picked the one urinal that gave you 2 options to be away from me.
Yes, that is
It is
bro
guy
code.
code for you never, unless it
Never.
is absolutely necessary and you're
Yes,
going to pee
if there
yourself.
are no other options, then it is acceptable. However, you leave one urinal between you guys.
Yeah, I don't understand. And it was an older guy in that generation, even though they're all, stuck up. They're also the type, it's like brotherly love. Like the guy was like,
Oh yeah,
also
all
like,
the people who are
wa-
so scared of gay people, but they're like the most gay generation ever.
Yeah, because that's where
Because
they
they want to
came
go
from.
up and look like it's just locker room fun. Yeah, that's called foreplay.
Yeah.
It's okay, like it's allowed, but just accept it. Be
Yeah,
happy. Be yourself.
Just let me put your dick in my mouth. It's just locker
That's
room
exactly
fun.
what
Just
he's
like
It's not gay. It's with the boys.
it's with the boys. and today I love that, but back then you can't be the type to be like with the boys and then sit there and be at hate parades or whatever they do.
And that's exactly
nowadays.
what happens. But
Yeah. That's usually yeah. But moving on, that was not related. I was just very upset that this man peed next to me, and I'm a nervous peer, right? So I can be midstream. If someone approaches next to me, it will stop. my balls will shiver out, my dick will recede
I've
into my body like a turtle going into a
I
shell, and
have
I'm like, well, I guess I'm done.
I've been with Kate almost 7 years, and we have been married for over 2 years. I still do not pee in front of her.
I don't know why people would do that because even though you're married or with someone, there's stuff you do private. There's stuff that just like going to the
Let's leave a
bathroom.
little bit of mystery in this
A
relationship.
little bit of mystery, but also just like it's going to the bathroom. There's nothing romantic about that. There's nothing romantic about me just jumping on the toilet from the
Uh,
keto. Don't you say anything from the keto ice cream that I eat, which is delicious, but also has the milk stuff.
yeah.
It tastes like real ice cream. If I were to give you some, you would not tell the difference.
Okay, I believe it. There's
Uh,
definitely been some good keto foods.
But there's like milk is still a mortal enemy, and there's still some milk in there and some stuff. So like destroying a bathroom, there's nothing romantic about that. You don't need to know that. You just know I go into the bathroom, I go to the bathroom, I'm done, I come out. Okay, now we can be romantic or whatever you want to do. What?
I'm having a vivid recollection of I don't remember if it was my wife, I don't remember if it was a friend, but just somebody blew up the bathroom, walked out, and I walked in and I walked back out and I was like, "Hey guys, so there's two options here. You can blow up my toilet and I can walk in and smell it and know you blew up my toilet, or you can use this very conveniently placed spray. I can walk in and smell wildflowers and know that you blew up my toilet. I want the one that smells like wildflowers." And so I walked back in and very aggressively sprayed it and shut the door.
Honestly, you never want to do that too much, only because when you do that, like it will take on this form of it's like it combined the wildflowers combines with the poo stank, and then you're sitting there wheezing because the chemicals of the wildflower is getting in your lungs with the poo stank.
It made me laugh. Just thinking of that made me laugh. So I'm like, I'm gonna know either way, so let's just use it.
Yeah,
I've never been more of like a suburban mom in my life than when I was doing
and
that.
everybody poops. There's people that still struggle with that idea that everybody poops. Everybody poops. It's going to be stanky. It's your body getting rid of waste. It's the way it is. And just
I
don't make a
keep
big deal out
derailing
of
the
it.
story. I'm so sorry.
You know what? That's half the magic of this podcast. So, all right. So
But a man peed next to you. You were
the man.
very
Well, I
upset.
derailed it first because when those people pulled up, I went to the bathroom and I came back to my vehicle to get my headset. So I get my headset and I see a guy I know from college like hop out of the vehicle. Not anyone that we've talked about on the
Mhm.
podcast, right in our art episode. And I go up to him and I'm just like, "Hey, did you go to the same college? Insert college name." And he was like, "Yeah, oh my God." And we're talking, and like at this point, this guy's shredded. And I'm like, "What are you doing? You're looking great." We're talking about it, then we get on the discussion. It's like, "You look really different." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been doing the keto thing." And same discussion we literally just had. We went through the right. So then two other guys pull up, and these guys are also shredded, and they come out.
Now, like normal shredded or like shredded?
Shredded.
Like model shredded?
Like mozzarella cheese shredded.
Oh, okay.
Shredded.
And then I'm over here like trying I set my microphone on this wooden board and I'm trying to suck in my stomach so it's not pushing the board off the chair.
And the one guy hops out of the vehicle. He wasn't wearing a shirt. He was wearing them short shorts. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, "Did you just show up in that?" And like, I'm thinking this.
Half
and
expecting his like 9-inch wiener to be hanging out below the short shorts. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's like,
and
man,
it's very clear that he also has the Under Armour shorts under the shorts, like that kind of thing, right? You know what I'm talking about when people dress like that.
I do, and you're just like, I'm so yeah. Like
Well,
it good on these people, but
and that's what I want to obtain, which is why my next goal is to just start working out and getting shredded.
weights.
Yeah, I found my old weights and I ordered some new ones because there was a time I'm like, I'll go to the gym, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, paying a monthly membership for something I can literally do at home, and I have shown progress and determination that I can do it at home. So why waste that money?
I will say, as long as you know what you're doing, it's probably faster to do it at home. And you are the type of person you can motivate yourself to do it at home.
Exactly. If I sit around too long for one day, I get antsy and I got to get up and do something. So they hop out. My friend introduces me to them. It's like, "These are the guys I work out with and we run all the time." I'm like, "That's super cool." I'm like, "What do you guys do?" And they're like, it's like, it's a weekend. We're taking a break day. So we're going to be probably hitting up, probably 11 miles. I'm like, "What? 11 miles? Like just 11 miles?" And it's your it's your,
Your
not as
break day?
strict day. No, what?
I
So,
get winded walking to my mailbox.
and the thing was I did the math once again, and for a while I'm like, oh yeah, I'm running 10 miles. No, I'm running, my usual route's only 7. When I originally did the math, I did it wrong because I was using Google Maps,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I put it in the wrong spot of where I actually start. Oops, I'm human, whatever, but I'm honest.
Oops, I did it. All right, I'm done.
Man, Britney
But
Spears blasting in here. I haven't heard that, and for now I want to listen to that. So, I was shocked by that. I'm like, really? That's what you guys do? That is so awesome. They're like, how much you do? And I'm like, well, I do pretty much 7 miles. So I go from this point all the way down to this point. And the guy was like, dude, if you want, you can just run with us. We're going to be heading that way anyways. And I'm like, I mean, I wear my headset. I kind of do my own thing, and I take it at my own pace. He's like, that's what we all do. It's totally fine. We'll just match your pace. And I'm sitting there like, oh no.
And then they're just like, yeah, that, because then you're like, I'm obligated to go faster.
Exactly. And the thing is, I've actually improved on my speed, but I just do it for endurance, just for like, just how long can I go, right?
It's
I'm
also
not,
just great for your heart. Just
exactly.
in general.
It is good for your heart. So it doesn't matter. I'm not an, Olympic athlete trying to run a sprint. I run it because also during it, I listen to albums. I'll sometimes listen to a book, and I just really,
Kind of zone out. Yeah, it's
and I
very.
benefit from it because I can shut my brain off
It's also,
finally.
yeah, I was gonna say that's great for your mental health. Just the endorphins and everything you get from exercise.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, you
So
just feel better.
So I was like, no, 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 guys, I don't want to slow you down. I don't want to be a problem. They're like, dude, you're not a problem. This is like,
I
we all
love,
got to start somewhere. We'll totally get there.
I love wholesome Chad stories.
Yeah.
I don't like douchey Chads, but I love wholesome Chads.
This is
They're
what
like, we want to help you get ripped like us. And I'm like, yes, they're such nice people.
And that's what it turned into. It turned into a wholesome Chad story. But what happened next? I was like, am I a protagonist in an anime right now? Am I Mob from Mob Psycho joining the Body Improvement Club? Have you watched Mob Psycho?
I have not.
All right, 2 seasons, fantastic show, absolutely no filler, all of it perfect. About a little kid with psychic powers, but he's also super introverted, which usually leads to a villain, right?
Yeah,
Introvert,
yeah.
and this guy takes him under his wing. And the funny thing is, you find this out in the first episode, is that the guy is like, oh yes, I'm a psychic and I solve problem. No, he's a con artist, and he's just able to do that, but he acts like he's the most powerful psychic, and all he wants to do is just put this kid down the right path, right? So he joins the Body Improvement Club, and all the guys are absolutely jacked, and he's this scrawny little twig. In this scenario, they're absolutely shredded, like not even jacked, they're shredded. Like the guy came out of the vehicle with the 6-pack abs. I could put probably a can in between his pectorals. He flexed, and that thing would just crush immediately. And he was just all positive, like, yeah, you could join us. And my friend I knew, he's like, yeah, join us. Like, we're just running today. No big deal. I'm like, all right, if you want. So after, that, I do my stretches, and I just kind of join them in the stretches they do because they do different things. I actually learned some stretches from them. So I'm stretching, doing all the stuff they're doing. I'm talking to the other guy a little bit. And the guy has a speech. The one guy has a speech. Like, they do this every time. I asked. I was like, you do that every time? He's like, yeah, it's every time. It's get us pumped up. I'm like, all right, hell yeah.
He gives
A speech.
Okay, I'm like, this. Wait, what?
And he was like, even though we're doing 11 miles today, we're gonna push ourselves, right? And like, I'm sitting looking around. The other guy's like, yeah, yeah. Like, they're responding. I'm like, are we? I kind of almost felt like, you've been watching Attack on Titan, right?
I was gonna bring that up at some
I was
point.
gonna say
actually am now
Irwin's
all
speech.
caught up.
Irwin's
I
speech with the
love-
suicide run, that's what I started feeling. I started feeling that energy from this guy. And he's like, if we're not pushing
We
ourselves.
will die to save humanity. Our lives will pave the way for our ultimate victory. Today you will be heroes. Face no fear.
And the guy, and when Irwin's screaming it, he's like, my soldiers do not buckle. They do not bend. And I'm sitting there, and this is the emotion coming out of this guy. And he is just like, we are going to push ourselves. if we don't push ourselves, then we are comfortable. And if we are comfortable, we are not improving. And I'm sitting there like, holy shit, I'm getting goosebumps. Like, this guy's pumping us up. And and I guess he does it every time, and he does it like different every time when I ask my friend like later. Um, and he actually gave me his number. He's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, if you ever want to, like, afterwards, after all this, he's like, yo, if you ever want to, like, join us just for a run, just shoot me a text, we'll show up. Like, these guys were willing to put down whatever they're doing, like, hey, I'm going for a run, and they're like, we'll be there, brother. They all hop in their Jeeps and drive on
Avengers
down.
assemble.
Yeah. That's what I almost felt like. So and everyone's getting pumped up, you're putting in their ear things, and like, all right. And they look at me and they go, you lead. I'm like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. In my job and in my life, I've dealt with a lot of stressful situations and a lot of situations that, could have ended very badly. And I was calm, collected, and I only realized how bad it could have gotten afterwards, right? In the moment, I'm solid. I am focused.
Complete opposite.
Complete opposite.
I am the complete opposite.
Well, in this situation, I was complete opposite. I'm sitting there like, what? You ever get a spike of anxiety? This is how it happens to me. It starts at the top of your head and shoots down to your heart. I just hit the mic. And it shoots down to your heart as soon as something, like you get really bad news or something happens.
Mine's not the top of my head. Mine actually starts in my chest as like a cold spot and just shoots out my arms. Like,
okay.
When I get anxiety, it's like spiking, and that's why, because I think it's the fight, flight, or freeze response, and my body's like doesn't know which one to do. So I generally freeze.
My body goes for the flight every time, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. I said, we'll match your speed. Just go your route. We'll be there and support you the whole way.
I'm waiting for you to just take off like Roadrunner.
Dude, at first I'm like, all right, well, here we go. So I start running, and it's my usual pace to start out with, but I'm sitting there. I'm like, I got to keep this pace up. These three guys are following me. They're sacrificing their workout just to like support me, and just, I don't even know what's going on. And like, we would kind of like switch positions every so often while we ran, right? So we're running, and we already discussed. All right, you're laughing over there. What?
You brought up Attack on Titan. I am just imagining you four running, shooting the little smoke guns in front of you, just screaming at the top of your lungs. And all these other people just like freaking out and jumping out of your way, and you're just
and there's like a giant, the animal titan gorilla, the ape titan sitting in the distance, just like, oh, they're using flares out of their flare guns, but it's smoke. Interesting. As he picks up rocks, and we're like, ah!
I have not seen such a brutal show in so long, and that scene, that hurt. And so just picturing four guys running on just a normal beach day doing that, I can't. I can't.
And it was just, the whole scenario was just ridiculous. It's like something out of an anime plot. It's something out of a movie. I showed up on Sunday. My intent was to run. I work on myself, and these guys are like, we got you, bro. It's all about self-improvement.
Yeah, like three Adonis-looking dudes are surrounding you, and they're like, we'll match your pace, and you're like, oh,
yeah, the one guy, I'm pretty sure he was the guy who was sculpted in that famous sculpture of David? Atlas holding up the world.
Oh,
like, I'm pretty sure they used him. So, all right, so we're running, and I'm keeping up the pace, and we're going good. And honestly, at this point, for the first, I'm going to say over half of my route, because I told him I'm going to do my route, and it's like, that's fine. We'll just split off here. So my route, I'm running it, and we're doing good, and we're kind of switching out, depending, 2x2. I didn't do anything. They were like geese, and they were going in the formations around
instinctual.
Me. Yeah, exactly. I've really learned that Chads and bros are very instinctual creatures. So, all right, so we're running, right? And I come around the corner, and that girl I was talking about earlier, she is rollerblading with her dog and comes around the corner. And I think she saw me before I saw her, because when I noticed her, she was like in this weird transition of trying to like
get out of the
way, go a different way so we didn't have to lock eyes. I noticed her, right? And I just gave her a smile and waved, because initially whatever happened, I don't know. That's her thing. She's got to figure that out. nothing, nothing was too involved with anything about spending time together. So it's not one of those situations where it's like, oh, a piece of my heart, right? It sucks. Yes, it did suck. It was terrible, but at the same time, okay, whatever, we're moving on, right? So I'm just curious what she was thinking. And I'm almost waiting for like I don't know, a text to be like asking what's going on, because like after this like little like dating breakup thing, whatever, like I'm just surrounded by three hunky ripped dudes. Like, did I flip this guy? Did I turn him gay? And with those guys, let me tell you, they're like Cinnabites, right? I'm either going to be taken to an everlasting dimension of pain or an everlasting dimension of pleasure, and I will take both.
I feel like I feel like they would both happen.
They would. That's
Because Cinnabites are amazing. Like, they give you pure instant joy, but they take years off your life every time you eat one.
You're thinking like cinnamon bites. I'm talking the Cinnabites.
I'm thinking of like the ones at the mall.
Yeah, no. The Cinnabites are the extra dimensional, different dimension creatures from the Hellraiser series.
I never saw Hellraiser.
Well, okay, I'm glad we cleared this up, because you're talking about like
talking about food from the mall. Okay,
you're talking about food from the mall. I
wondered why you were looking at me like I had 4 heads. I'm like,
what are you talking about?
We're not on the same page.
Okay, so what it is like if you look it up on your phone, like the Cinnabites, it's like written like SYN.
Oh, like sin.
So what their deal is that there's this puzzle box that the Hellraiser movies, someone solves the puzzle box and then they get brought into this dimension of like pure pleasure, like the best pleasure you'll ever experience, but also the worst pain you'll ever experience. And they balance that, and like people kind of look for this, and they're all these grotesque, monstrous looking things.
Oh, Cenobite. Okay.
Cinnabites.
Cenobites.
Yeah, it's pronounced Cinnabites if you say it, but it would be Cenobites. You're fat ass over here being like, oh, you mean the things from the mall? Like,
I think the Cenobites feels really good right now.
Yeah, there's like one with his face like held open with wires, like the skin on his face and his like teeth, no lips, whatever. Yeah, so that's what I feel like these guys would do. So I was expecting that, but also there was a thing of like, I don't know, maybe a personal like pride in myself. Instead of sitting around being mopey about it, I picked myself up and kept going.
Hey, some of us take that sitting around being mopey, that's our thing.
Here's the thing. I'm not knocking that, because
I'm just kidding.
The fun fact about Brandon here, I was engaged once. Obviously it didn't work.
Did I don't think I knew that.
I don't really tell a lot of people about it, but I'm in a much better place about it. I mean, after that, it took like 5 years of my life to figure myself out and get over that. So I totally understand where that's from. But this kind of showed me that, oh, I picked myself up and I kept going. I didn't do the usual thing Brandon does, which is sit down. I went and worked out, right? So that was the only part you need to know about that. She was like, she kind of looked at me, like she did wave, but she was like, what the hell's going on? Like Brandon running around with these,
3 ripped, shredded,
Yeah.
Adonis looking.
So we got to the point, and I popped off my headset the one year, and I just turned to the one guy who I just identified as the leader because he gave the speech.
To the alpha male?
Yeah, the alpha male. And I was like, hey, I loop around back going this way. So I just took like real quick, because we're running still. I'm like, thank you. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you supporting me. And he's like, dude, no problem. And hey, maybe we'll wrap around and see you on our way back. If not, if you need anything, just give our boy back there a call and we'll come meet you if you need anything. You're doing great. Proud of you, dude. Good luck out there. And I'm as you pound your chest.
I went to pound my chest in like the Chad salute and I punched the fucking mic.
I wanted to stop right there and do all right, since we're talking about Attack on Titan, do the friggin' Attack on Titan
salute
with tears running down my face. I'm like, sir, yes, sir. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, this man.
I will support you, Commander Irvin.
This man right here, this man I've known for a whopping, and I've increased my speed. I did slow down a little bit, and I knew that. I did increase my speed of doing my 7 miles from, it's like an hour 20, hour 15, down to the fastest I've gotten it is 59. Technically, it was like a millisecond away from 1 hour, but I count the 59. I'm like,
hey, if it don't say 60, it's 59.
I'm like, it's 59 minutes. Yeah, and I, this one man didn't even know, and we're just talking about like working out and stuff. This man, brought up my confidence level and probably was more of a father figure in those like whopping 5 minutes that we actually talked before we ran compared to my own father who's been unfortunately in my life my whole life. Like this one random dude was like, dude, I'm proud of you. You keep it up. Good luck out there. And they just ran off. And I, went back my
Mysterious
way.
figures riding off into the sunset.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, is this my real life? Is this what's happening? I just kind of like processed and tried to figure out what the hell happened. So like I, saw this X person, me and three hunky dudes, running, doing stuff together, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, this was my Sunday morning. Mm-hmm.
Just a normal Sunday
This is a
morning.
normal. There was one time. There was another. This is not as intense running story, but it was a running story that happened last year when I was running, same place, same route, and I come around the corner, right, of this there's this quarry right on the right side, so you got to circle the quarry before you can get back to the road. And there's a bunch of people standing on either side with this big banner that says like, congrats Katie. I don't know who Katie is, but they're sitting there like, I see a banner. I'm so tired, and this is before I started really getting serious about losing weight and stuff. And I see this banner, there's words on it. I'm sitting there and I'm like, see these people there, and it's the hottest day of the year. I'm like, what the hell's happening? So I like pull off my headphones and they all start cheering and clapping. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, and I just slow down and I like ask one lady, I'm like, what is this? What's happening? It's like, she's like, they're like, our friend Katie just got accepted into this place, and she runs this route, and we're all here to surprise her. Did you pass a girl? She gave me the description. I'm like, yeah, I did. Like after she described it, I'm like, yeah, she heading this way. And they're all sitting there. It's like, yeah, sorry, but good job for running though. You're doing awesome. And I'm like, thanks, I appreciate that. And I just kept running, right?
I really wish you would have run by and just with your headphones still on. I'm not Katie. I'm not Katie. And then just kept running.
I'm not Katie. So this was like the end result of that, experiencing that, and everyone cheered and like, yeah, go you. So then at the end of the after, no, I'm sorry. Hold on, let me take a sip of Truly. And just shot up my nose too. Awesome. I think the best thing about holding the mic like this, and probably the quality is going to be butts this episode, so apologies for that. But the title will probably be like, Brandon held the mic, and that's going to be it.
Brandon two-handed the mic.
I did two-handed, both hands, going to town. Man, I wonder if that guy who's running, I wonder if his name was Mike.
Your two-handing mic?
That would be hilarious if it was. So in the moment when I was experiencing all that, the first thing that came to mind was, I'm dead. I'm expecting to cross that little banner, and I mean, in my just Jesus standing there, he's like, well done, my son, you've completed the journey. And I expected, like, in reality, me face down, heat stroke in the mud, like a mile back, like dead. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you didn't know you died, but you died, and then you're just
that's such a sad concept to me.
You just like realize that's what I was expecting. I'm like, I died like 5 feet back there. I'm dead in the road, and I'm going to heaven now, or hell. I mean, I don't know where I'm going. So I, after all that, I was like, okay, so that's not what happened. And that's why I popped my headphones off. I'm like, what's going on? Because I expected one of them to be like, "You're home, my son." Like,
and in reality, it's just a cult.
Yeah, exactly. In reality, it's a cult. That's another running story that I had. Actually, these are just the two only interesting ones. The other ones just involve me chasing down people to pet their dogs. If you bring a dog to a park or a beach,
you better expect it to get pets.
Exactly.
Unless you're a real big jerk like me, and I'm like, don't touch my dog.
Well, I know your one dog, he's sometimes cranky, so I understand you do that out of safety.
No, I just don't like people touching my dogs. If I don't know you, stay away from me.
Oh, I'm the type of person that I like invite people, like, come pet the dog.
Yeah.
Get over here.
I'm just a
jerk.
Jerk.
Yeah, you're just the jerk.
I'm also really happy you had like stories to talk about, because I only had like a really heavy philosophical question today, and I'm like, it was a bad enough week. I don't want to like
is it gaming related?
No.
Okay.
Well, you could make it gaming related. I guess a lot of games touch on it, but I was more rooted in reality because I've been having a very like inner crisis
existential.
Yeah.
And that's why video games are there to help you forget the existential crisis. Because I have existential crisis every week. I can't deny it.
I've been getting better. But
Like this
yeah.
weekend has been fantastic. On the it's just a relaxing week. You know what I did all day yesterday? I had options to go out. I had people. I even had that one girl on Tinder message me, and she was like, "Yo, I'm just sad. I'm stuck in on Saturday night, not going to the bars." And I'm like, "Listen, bitch, I just cooked myself a steak on a fire outside with some broccoli, and it was amazing. And now I'm reading a book that's also amazing."
And you want me to take you out for drinks with the potential for you taking me home? How dare you?
How dare
How
you?
dare you
How dare
insult
you?
me?
How dare you think that just because I take you out, get you drunk, you bring me home, that you're thinking you'll get dick? No! I have
Do you think?
RuneScape to grind. I have games to catch up on.
Do you think I am a man of the night? Is that who you perceive me as?
Do you think I am some common whore that you can find on the corner?
Just...
You know, if I didn't beat off today, probably.
Oh, no.
But in this case, no. I have standards. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to finish my last page of my Witcher book. Thank you very much. I really wish it went like that. And I did say about the cooking and stuff. And she replied, and then I reply a few minutes later, like, wait, was that like a hint that like you want to go out and like get a drink somewhere? And then she was like, yes and no, but also you're 30 miles away. I was like, I'm sitting there thinking my old job, I'm like, I would drive 50 miles in a day. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
that's only
understand.
like an hour drive. That's
Yeah,
not that far.
I always notice that people like that always get weird about mileage. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're going to pay my mileage? Is that what you're concerned about?
Also, like for genuine human connection, if you meet in the middle, that's like a half-hour drive. That's nothing.
Yeah, you just meet and get some coffee. Unless you're inviting me over, then if you're inviting me over and you want to do that, yes, I will drive an hour.
If the bar is in your house,
Here's the thing.
on my way.
If you just cuddle with me and hold my hand occasionally, I will drive an hour for that. Because it has been so long without genuine human connection that I will go and do that. You know, throw it out there, and she's like, yo, you know, we're not doing that tonight. I'm like, that's fine. Just let me put my arm around you. Just hold my hand. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. I'm not a complex individual.
I spent all my day yesterday starting our annual summer garden and fixing some things around the house. And today I woke up and I was like, I did minimal manual labor yesterday. And it's the scene from Lord of the Rings where my body is broken. I'm sitting there. I woke up this morning. I was like, my shoulder and my back.
My pussy and my crack.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, like yesterday, I even started getting a little antsy because I said like I just played RuneScape. Like, I played a lot of RuneScape yesterday, and also I played a lot of Anarchy Reigns and a lot of Asura's Wrath. And I got, oh my gosh, on display, there was a sale going on. There's always a sale going on. I got an Asura's Wrath poster of just like the main character just screaming. I'm so excited to just have that and then show people it.
I'm old and I play golf now, so I don't have a whole lot of time for video games, but I did start BioShock 1.
Why did you go with the one that you played?
Because I wanted to, I'm gonna play through all of them.
Dude, here's the thing. All you need to do is just, and you was talking about that last week episode. I started on my Switch, the BioShock 2, started going through that one, and I'm like a quarter of the way through.
Yeah. But I'm gonna switch to, one of these days I will go back and play Elden Ring. I realized what an undertaking it was in playing through, and like that map is huge, the starting map. Yes, guys, I suck so much I didn't even get out of that area yet. So I'm imagining this world is...
It's massive.
And I was like, I'm not prepared. I'm too old. I'm not prepared.
I'm on the Wolf Boys quest. His name is, I think it's Blythe or Blythe, but it's spelled Blaidd. So it's very confusing on how to pronounce it. But he's a wolf man. It's a man, but with a head of a wolf, and he's super chill. And how you start his quest line is once you start working for Moon Mama or Lady Ronnie, once you start working for Moon Mama, she's like, "Will you join my covenant?" I'm like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm."
Mommy says join the covenant. I'll join the covenant.
Yeah, I'm here. I'll join that covenant. Yeah. So once you join that, you can start his quest. So you go to this one spot in, I'm terrible with names, so I'm not even gonna try it. It's near these ruins, and he's standing on top of this pillar, and you have to do this gesture, but you have to find him first. Then you grab the gesture from the first salesman that you encounter, the one that's in that little church. Like as soon as you start the game,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe it's there, and then you can do the gesture, and then he hops down, and you can start the quest with him.
Hmm.
What I want to do is I want to get all the quest lines aligned, just because like you can summon all of them for the battle against Radon. Is it Radon? Radane? The one who rides his horse. I get confused on all the names. Also, the more now I play it on and off, and I'll just play it like for an hour, make a little progress, level up, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I've noticed that yes, this is very much a George R.R. Martin story, because there's a lot of details regarding marriage and regarding like lineage in that sense. Does that make sense? Because I know Game of Thrones is really heavily focused on that. Also, some incest.
Incest is everywhere.
Incest everywhere. Yeah.
People that's just like it's taboo, so we're gonna write about it. I'm like, I
Yep.
think you're writing about it because you want to do it.
I mean, then just do it. You know, if you're into it, you're into it. But keep that between you and your stepsister, or stepbrother, or step non-binary person.
I saw
Whatever
on
step.
Facebook, because I like to follow some really messed up meme pages. One of them was it was an older woman taking her dentures out,
Yes.
and the caption was, "When you kick grandma's ass at cards and it's time for her to pay up."
Oh hell yeah!
I'm sorry,
Get over here, Graham.
I was
Gam,
like,
Gam.
I
I
was
said
like,
Graham. Gam.
I'm sitting there, I'm laughing, but I'm like, that's so
That's
no.
so gross. Like at cards, what game are you playing that you need to
I might not.
pay
It
up
was
like
something
that?
I can't remember.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just thinking, what game would you be forced to pay up in that way?
Poker
Poker.
built up your debt.
Dude, I just Uno. I'm like, if I win, this is what happens.
Strip
Game.
Uno.
Strip Uno. Every time you play a red, you have to lose an article of clothing. That'd be pretty cool. Or you could Uno gets intense. You ever play Uno Flip?
I don't think so.
Uno Flip is, so there's two sides. There's a light side and a dark side. The dark side is all neon colors. The light side is all the regular colors. And they're just two-sided cards. So on the light side, you have wilds, you have wild draw twos, and then you have just a draw one. Very tame. With the occasional skip and reverse, right? With all the other numbers.
Mhm.
And when you use a flip card, you flip your hand over, you flip the entire deck over, and the entire discard pile over. Uno is my game, and we already talked about this. Like, I love Uno. Like, I have like Olympic
We've-
Uno. I have all wild Uno.
We've definitely talked about Uno many times before.
Yes. And I'm just reminding everyone how awesome Uno Flip is. So when you flip it, now you have draw fives. Now you have skips that skip everyone who's playing and comes back to you. You have reverses, but also you have the draw wild, which it doesn't matter if you have the color in your hand. It doesn't matter if you have a wild in your hand. You have to pick up cards until you get that color, and then you play it. So you play the wild, it's like, I want it to be orange, that person. And that's what I always pick, because for some reason, orange is like the rare color, even though the colors are spent evenly, you never get oranges. So then the person starts drawing, and they can't stop
You just
until
see
they
the
get an
frustration
orange.
building
Yes,
and the anger building. And that's how murder happens.
And I'm sitting there just looking at them, and I'm like, ah, yes. I feel your anguish.
Take the cards. Take them all.
Take all the cards. Yeah. And then there's like the other Unos where you can put in, draw how many. I like to put in draw 25s just to be spicy.
Ouch.
Oh, speaking of spicy, Dr. Pepper got ruined for me.
Why? I like Dr. Pepper.
Well, I got I got sent a meme that it was like it was a TikTok, and what the person said was I just got sent this and I don't know what to do with myself. And they're like, Dr. Pepper, honestly, that's just spicy Sprite.
Damn it. God damn it.
Like, yeah, there it is. Spicy Sprite.
Well, cool. Now myself and everybody listening, you just ruined Dr. Pepper.
Good, because I didn't like it that much anyways. I'm not a big soda person ever, but
To be fair, I'm not either. Occasionally when we drink, sometimes we'll use it as a mixer, but I don't really
yeah.
drink pop on its own a
When
lot.
you get older, using pop as a mixer becomes more common than just drinking the actual pop.
I don't like
I'm
it
sorry,
by
what do you, all
itself.
right, is it pop or is it soda to you?
It's both.
I'm fascinated by this because I've had
I
people
that's
in my life that like it's called soda, and I'm like, where are you from? Like, what do you mean where I'm from? Like, where did you grow up in?
Yeah,
Where
that's
were you
always this big
born?
thing. I've always just used
Yeah, and
them
they
interchangeably.
yeah, and they are like, down south. I'm like, "Yeah, that's why. Down south they call it soda, and up here in the north we call it pop.
I've always called it both.
I
Honestly,
jump in between
I
the two, but it's
I will
always I'm
say
interested in
pop
that
is probably the more common one I use, but
pop.
if somebody says soda, I don't like lose my gourd. I'm like, okay,
Oh,
you're talking about soda.
people lose their minds over really stupid
Oh,
stuff like pineapple on pizza. That's another discussion people lose their minds
okay,
over.
well, you're a freaking sociopath if you like that. But it's
Oh,
also
I'm a
called,
sociopath. I love pineapple on pizza. You
I
put
can say it,
jalapenos on there. There's the spicy, and when you bite into a piece of pineapple and it like explodes in your mouth with all the
I've
sweet juices. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful
I
combo.
have never heard of the jalapeno and pineapple. That one interests me. That is
That
something I might be interested in
that
trying.
is something you want to try because a lot of people do the Hawaiian. Hawaiian's good, but just jalapenos and pineapple on it, beautiful.
Oh, and for everybody listening, between soda and pop, it's actually called soda pop. You're both lazy.
Yeah, everyone is lazy, but everyone is also right. Soda pop, because they call it a soft drink because when it first came out, I actually looked this up because I'm insane. They called it a soft drink because I mean there was no other drink other than water or a hard
Alcohol?
drink or alcohol, right? So when this was introduced, they were like, "What do we call it?" Like because people thought it was alcohol first, and then they're like, "It's a soft drink." It's a terminology that it has a flavor, but it's not alcoholic.
Huh. That's interesting. I never
Yeah.
knew that. I always wondered why it was called soft drinks.
And it's right along those lines. I'm just not 100% sure on the validity of the small details, but it's right along those lines. This is
No, we're experts. Everything we say is 100% accurate.
yes, 100% accurate. There's actually a study that came out recently that showed, which is super interesting, was they did a case study over the past, I think it was the past 4 years, where they took the skeletons of people who liked Kingdom Hearts, and when they, their bodies were donated science. So when they looked in there, they realized that their skulls, how they formed, was very similar to a Neanderthal's.
Yeah, that was written by Brody Yukon, wasn't it?
Wait, who?
Brody, you can suck this dick.
Uh,
Ah!
I make a joke. I hate that number one, but I make the joke. And then you say that, and I'm sitting there caught off guard because of it truly, but also I'm like, oh shoot, did someone do this? And I just spoke it to existence, and you're just like, yeah, Brody wrote that. What? Brody, you can suck this dick.
Brody, you can.
Oh, that's good.
Oh.
I like that one. That's good. I'm gonna
Oh.
use that.
I definitely ripped that from somebody else, but he was like, take this into the world and use it. And I was like, yes, master, I will.
Yes, master, I shall. Yeah, so the Kingdom
Oh.
Hearts fan base, over time, playing the games will actually develop your cranium and lower your intelligence, and you'll kind of become a Neanderthal or like a caveman.
I mean, that explains a lot about me.
Yeah.
But I know we've mentioned this 18 billion times, but I still can't. I can't play him anymore.
Well, we already talked about this too. The child that was interested in that died. They took way too long to make another, and they're making a fourth one.
Yeah, wasn't the third one supposed to be the end?
Yeah,
I mean, I never
and then they're
played
just
it.
like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 4, because we want to fill the world with Neanderthals. Our entire society is going to turn into the Geico commercials. Like, even a caveman can do it. Yeah, because everyone's a caveman because you play Kingdom Hearts. Man, I am like vicious today. I'm going for the jugular on things that people like.
Yeah, it's because we're getting older.
Let me ask you, are you a GTA fan? Like Grand Theft Auto?
Never played them.
I never got into them, and some people swear by them. And
Well, there's like a really big
role-playing community, I know that.
yeah, I didn't know that for the longest time. I mean, and again, me saying I've never played it, partially was because like they had that reputation when we were younger, and our parents were probably like, "This is gonna make you all thugs, and you can't play these games.
I hope that's what your parents sounded like.
Absolutely, mate. No, my dad is a former Marine. He was, you're not playing it.
And you're just like,
Okay.
you're like, yes, sir.
That was basically it.
And there was no questions, no comments, no retorts, no rebuttals.
There was no
You're
back
like-
talk in that
You're just
house.
like, see you later. Yep,
But
I got it.
I'm like, yep, I'm gonna stick to my Mario Party. Okay, Dad. But
Mario Party's more fun, honestly.
probably. But anyway, well, I never played it. Which is funny because realistically, I like RPGs, so I feel like I would have really enjoyed those.
It's not an
games.
RPG.
It's not?
No. It's just
is
an
it?
action game that just takes place in an open world and they say the F word a lot. That's it.
I mean, I consider that RPG. It's role playing.
Role playing, I guess, yeah. My thing was when I first kind of got into I didn't get into GTA. I played it when I was 19. That was the first time. I actually just had a system that could play it. And I started driving. I started working around this time. So I played it. And I was just like, so you're telling me people are losing their minds over this game? Now the story's probably good, probably people like that urban setting story of just people trying to get rich quick or whatever, but also all the stuff I do in the game I do in real life. When I play a game, I want to be transported to a magical world, a different place, something I'll never experience in this lifetime. Me traveling from mission to mission, there is one mission in one of the games, I can't remember what, but it was like one of the starting missions. You have to drive your car to the convenience store, grab something out, and then take it back to the person. And I'm like, I just ran an errand. Are you kidding me? And people, like, no, those are the Neanderthals. Those are the GTA fans.
Oh.
Kingdom Hearts fans, you're still Neanderthals.
I'm gonna point out, I don't think the GTA games were targeted at people like you and me.
Who were they targeted at then? Because everyone's going to drive and have a job and have to run errands.
I have never played them, but I'm also going to speak to. We are dry white men.
But
I think it was speaking to a little bit more of an urban culture.
Yeah, but at the same time, I can't comprehend the idea of how someone could play a game like a simulator, like farming simulator, stuff you could do in real life if you want to do it. You have every option now. Financially, I'm just going to throw that there. Financially, yeah, it's sometimes more difficult to get into some hobbies, but in the current day, there are options for you to test it out. There's ways that you can pursue that and get a little taste if you want. I'm not going to be able to go pilot the Normandy and go get some hot alien babes to stop an insect race. I'm not going to be able to save the crystals in Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles from the miasma that's taking over the land. I'm not going to be able to sleep with an Asari in my lifetime. And you're telling me that people are dropping cash on Farming Simulator or GTA?
I have a farming simulator, but it was free. It was one of the free
Like
download games.
the PS Plus, yeah.
I haven't played it yet.
I'm not knocking it. I worked when I was, in high school during the summers, I worked at a farm. I loved it. Honestly, I probably would still do it if it could pay my bills. Like if they could pay me the amount I make right now, it's not a huge amount, I'm not bragging, but it's much better than anything else I've made. If they were like, all right, we'll pay you that for you to work Monday through Friday, I would do it. But I'm not going to sit there and play a game either. That's just all about that. Now, like Harvest Moon.
Oh my God, it's a game about you being a freaking Uber Eats delivery driver.
All right, that one could be. All right, they would have to take the idea, though, and just go wild with it. Like, it would just, like, there would be combat in the game, right? But the thing was, you don't get out of your car to fight. You fight as the car. So, like, the car comes up and a bunch of enemies come in, and it's like, all right, give me, like, a hack and slash fighting game that you have played that you know of.
You're putting me on the spot, and now
I was going to say Devil May Cry, but I know you probably haven't played that.
I've played one of them. Dynasty Warriors is a big one.
Okay, so yes, Dynasty Warriors. So it's that same exact combat, but you were just stuck in your red Honda Civic. And it's just the car spinning around hitting people. Like the car does you'll like hit the brake real quick after you like hit someone or someone's on the back of your car and they get sent flying forward. You have a combo meter. Like, all right, that I can get behind. But if it's really just a simulator where you just drive around for Uber Eats, I'm like, hey gamer, I'm just taking a second to check in on you. You see, The last time your mom and I were hanging out, she may have subtly dropped the hint that you're not really sure how to support the podcast. And honestly, when I walked out of her room only wearing a bath towel and we locked eyes, I could see it on your face. There's quite a few ways you can support the podcast. You can find us on Twitter at sure_podcast, over on Instagram, it sure is a podcast, YouTube, and TikTok. It sure is a podcast. That's all you gotta look up. And then TikTok is for you Zoomers out there, because I post some real stupid shit there. For Eric and I, you listening is probably just one of the best things in the world. But if you do want to support us, those are ways you can. Also, just tell a friend that, hey, we listened to a terrible podcast. You should hop in on this. Also, if you want to support us monetarily, whatever one that makes you give us money, you can go on over to www.buymeacoffee.com/ISIA podcast. There you can drop us a few bucks and be on your way. But like I said earlier, just you guys listening is really enough for us. I want to experience something I can never experience, or be told a very fantastical story.
I agree with that, because when people are like, you're using video games as an escape. I'm like, no kidding. I can shoot fireballs out of my hands
Exactly.
in these games. What do you think I'm gonna do? Like, that's the point of this.
Yeah, it's just something for you to really...
This isn't the 90s.
Escape.
You suburban Christian moms can all shut the hell up. Violence doesn't come from video games. It comes from people like you messing your kids up.
Yeah, I don't think, honestly, I think I get most of my aggression out, but I've never been an aggressive person either. But I always get my aggression out like video games. If I'm frustrated or mad, I'll like play a game for an hour, and then I'm like, okay, I'm in a better place. I'm chill now.
Yeah, that's me too. I have a lot of inner turmoil. I try not to let it out. It does.
It comes out. It comes out for everybody.
But yeah, games are just, I don't know. I escape for a while. I think that works better than like meditation for me, because it gives my brain something to focus on. That's nothing, not all the bad stuff. And then, like you said, you are all right, cool. I'm good. I reset. I'm back to neutral. I'm good to go.
Yeah. And I mean, meditation works for some people, but some people, when there's all that quiet, like you're left with your own thoughts, and you might have an actual condition where it's like your brain won't stop thinking. So you need something to shut that. I saw this fun thing about video games and like diagnosing different like ADHD, ADD. Did I add another D? ADD. And it was just kind of talk about the idea of, you take someone who has the diagnosis, do a study where you kind of look through how they play their games. Do they finish their games? Do they 100% their games? Do they organize all of their inventory? We've talked about this before. I think that's how I'm not diagnosed with it, so I could be full of crap, but I think I had a very mild amount of OCD because, like, we loved playing Halo together as a family. My dad and my brothers. That was one of our big things. Oh,
yeah. We spent time together.
Yeah, definitely Halo brought your family together, I think.
I could not start playing whatever the multiplayer match was until I had full ammo on my guns. And everybody's like, you need to do this. I'm like, no, I gotta find this. I have to go in with full ammo. They're like, you're gonna die before you can shoot a full round out of that gun. Why do you need full ammo?
It's a kind of more of a comfort thing that you're just like there and you're like, all right, I have full ammo, so if I need it.
But that was it, and I always died half the time before I could even use it. Other game like quests and stuff, I'm like, I can't progress the main story until I exhaust every last single option. That's why like Elden Ring is so hard for me. I'm like, I gotta see everything. I gotta see everything, and it's like, it's okay if you miss it. You're allowed to come back later. And
that's a really good way to put it.
A 30-year-old man still can't handle the thought of missing the tiniest little detail in a game, and it almost makes certain games not fun. Whereas instead of most people are like, screw it, I'm just gonna play it for fun. I'm like, no, there's a blade of grass over there I didn't count. I need to go and find it.
And you like run over there and look at it, and you're like, 6,592. Let's go.
But and then I don't know. I'm like, I actively have to make myself not care so I can just keep playing and move forward.
Yeah, and I think games really, they add a lot of content, especially compared to older games. Now, some older games have a lot of content, but Also, you got to just take games at your own pace, and I think kind of gaming cultures kind of put it a stamp. It's like, oh, if you don't 100% this video game, you're not a real gamer.
Shoot.
What
I don't know. No, all of this
we're
made
not
me
real
think.
gamers.
Well, I'm not. I'm a fraud. But I haven't played a game in like 2 weeks. That I was a No Man's Sky talking
Mm-hmm,
about
mm-hmm,
simulators and
mm-hmm.
all that. I have a copy, and I think my older brother has it. And I was supposed to see them today. I should have told him to bring it because I want it back.
And they've updated that so much that it's like a totally different game,
I know, and that's why I
and
want to go and play it.
it's cool.
I just want to. Honestly, I don't even really want to do anything. I just want to get in my spaceship and fly around planets and fly through space.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
all
you.
I
That
wanna
is all I
do.
ever want to do. And the thing that stinks about it is how they set up the game is like you have to land on planets to get fuel for your ship and then you
Yeah.
can go off again. And that's what I do. Because technically,
I think
like
they have modes where you can get like unlimited, but I like the resource collection a little bit. I won't
yeah,
lie.
but it's always cool to visit a planet. You're like, what's that? And you land on it, and then it's like, oh my gosh, there's all this acid rain, and there's always storms. So you just hop out and start getting fuel, and you hop back in. You're like, we're getting out of here.
Fuel up, fuel up, fuel up, fuel up. Let's go, let's go.
As the tornadoes coming, yeah, that game's come a long way. I guess we could wrap up today's episode with talking about games that have had comebacks from developers that are really passionate about their project, and obviously, No Man's Sky is a perfect example.
And I haven't played it. No, I might just. My
No,
wife's out of town in a couple weeks. I might just have to go buy a copy.
just steal it from 'em. Just drive their house, be like, "Hey, I'm stealing your No Man's Sky."
Break in. If you don't want your kids hurt, I'm just sit there. Eric? No.
No. As you say their kids by name, and you like do something that they like
Yeah.
one of your speech like patterns that they
Sally
would
and
recognize.
Susie are upstairs sleeping. How do you know my kids' names? Don't worry about it.
How'd you know it was upstairs? Eric, is that you? No.
No. I'm here to steal stuff.
Like you're not even confident with the idea of stealing and stuff. That I mean, you could probably get a copy for cheap at like GameStop or like
It's like $60 still if you want to download it.
if you want to download it. But if you
Yeah.
look for it like in a used store, the thing is, all the DLCs, from what I gather and understand, it's free.
Huh.
It would be a big download, but you could just get a copy of the base game and just.
I don't even need all the DLC. I literally just want to fly around to the different
Yeah, and all they
planets.
did was just add different ways to interact with the world and stuff. You can have pets. There's living ships now, and I mean that game's just fun to go ahead and do that. But it was like clear
just
that the developers had a passionate idea, and they're like, I don't care what reviews say. I didn't hate the game at first. I don't know. Everyone was like, oh, there's nothing to do. I'm like, are you kidding me? There's an infinite universe on this stupid disc. Like,
Yeah, the whole fun thing is like to fly around and just see new environments. Like
yeah.
that was the original goal.
But gamers, they got to have all those options, I guess. But I mean, they have them now. Another like your Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. Yeah, that got terrible reviews, but you were telling me you were able to play it the other day, like, and actually have fun. Like they fixed the
They
problems.
definitely scaled it so it was way easier to play. It was still challenging. Like I still had you can choose harder difficulties if you want that challenge.
Exactly, yeah.
It was way more fun to be able just to go through and actually play it and not like spend 2 hours trying to beat one part and not being able to do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
On the easiest difficulty.
Yeah, I remember you saying the easiest difficulty, and it was all messed up. I'm trying to think what other.
Witcher 3 had a comeback.
Yeah, because it was when it first came out, super buggy.
Cyberpunk.
Actually, Cyberpunk. What the funny thing is, everyone talks such crap on Cyberpunk, right? But on the interwebs, like on Steam, on the reviews for that, it's all overwhelmingly positive or very positive.
Because I feel like those are the real gamers.
I think they realized, okay, this is what they went for. It didn't work out perfectly, but it's still functional. But also, I can understand that the console issue of the last gen and all that, it was out the door too early.
Just don't release it. Yeah, don't release it on it.
Yeah, I mean, the investors were like, we got to release this now. And the guy in charge did make the call to be like, all right, I like money in my pocket, so I'll release it. But he knew it wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went back and started playing it a little bit, and there's just tweaks and things in all these different spots to make it a better product. And I also forgot that I had a female character with a dick.
You can do that?
I think there's a kink somewhere in there. Yeah. because I was like
Now I'm
changing,
interested. I might go buy it now.
like literally,
Massive
there,
triple G boobies and just a friggin' 10-inch hanger.
you can have small wiener, big wiener. You can change that, and there's no like gender option. Just like voice, body type, genital. Like you can pick
Huh.
that stuff. Now
That's kind of cool though. That's like a cool concept that they let you have that.
instead of and it's all about like the cyberpunk idea, which a lot of people don't understand, is cyberpunk. The concept of it is morphing your body, changing your body, and then it has asked the question, because a lot of all cyberpunk stories talks about what does it mean to be human. It is us changing all our limbs and all our body parts. Are we still human? Are we still us?
We're
Or
getting
is it?
dangerously close to the topic that I potentially had, and I don't know if I want to go into like the.
Well, we're not diving into it this episode because we're getting close to the end. But I mean, the simplest way I could put it was in near automata or automata, however you want to say it.
Onomatopoeia.
I called it automata the other day and I got roasted. And I was like, all right, it's near automata. There we go. I almost said it wrong again. In the game, there's this quest where you have to get bolts for this character because his leg was broken, right? They're all androids. So you go get him the bolts. You give him the bolts. He's sitting there, and like this robot looks at you and is like, you know what? If I put these bolts in my leg, I will have officially replaced every part in my body. So am I even still me? Or am I someone completely different?
That brings up the argument of: are you human because of your body? Or are you human because of your soul?
Exactly.
If you
So,
upload your consciousness into a computer, are you still human?
right? Are you
Might not have a physical. People believe in the afterlife. Are you not human in the afterlife?
Yeah. So what was your topic if we're dancing dangerously close to it?
I feel like it would be a good one for next week. But again, I've been having a little bit of an internal crisis.
Right.
But
Existential crisis. We all have them.
mine was what makes you a good person? Because I've been thinking, I'm like,
What
am
the hell? This is a podcast about video games and boobies.
I told
And you're
you.
sitting here like, what makes you a good person?
I've been like, am I a good person? Like,
I mean,
what makes a good person? Is
I-
it different for everybody?
I feel like if you here's the statement I'm going to say on it, and we're going to wrap up because yeah, this could be a rabbit hole. I'm saying if you
That's just a glimpse into the very, very the like the deepest, darkest depths of my mind. And people wonder why I want to be stupid. That's why I want to be stupid, because I lay awake at night thinking that.
my thought here's my thought on it. Have other people, since you have a wife, you definitely have this option.
Yeah, but she's obligated to tell me I'm a good
no,
person.
no. Ask other people Ask other people and just have them give your opinion. Because I was going to say, okay, just go through a book of laws and a book of things. Like, do you break any of these laws? But you can still be a terrible person and manipulate without
But
breaking
especially
laws.
in this day and age,
Ask other people.
I think laws aren't reflective of the.
Oh yeah,
You can follow the laws, but look at the laws now. I'm not going to get into that. That's That's going to be our spin-off show. Politics with two old white guys. But
You're doing that one on your own. I'd steer clear of that. I would say ask other people. Go to have her ask or have someone else like you, because what you want to do is, and I have some knowledge in this. You want to have how do I put it? Because if you were to go ask your best friend, do you think I'm a good person? They're going to say yes because it's your friend, or they're going to say yes because they don't want to have the discussion. If they're mentally ill like me, I'm like, let's talk about it. Yeah, it's right. But like in reality, they're not going to want to have that discussion, especially if you're like at a party or somewhere. So have someone else ask that question to your friends, because the thing is, regardless of what you do, how you present yourself to other people, that's going to be the best gauge of if you are indeed a good person.
But then also, I had thoughts along that. I'm like, well, I could ask people. I'm like, but what if their definition doesn't match my definition? And what if, like, are you a good person to be what they think is a good person?
Here's the
or
thing,
do you
friends,
follow your own path?
The thing is, the friends you have and the friends you associate with and people you spend time with, you might not know it, but you definitely line up on more similar things than not similar things. Like we have that one friend who has a very excuse me, friends who have a very different view of thinking than we do. You can kind of probably think of who I'm talking about just with some types of people that might not be the same color as them. Um, yeah. So,
Mm.
but the thing is, I think we have more in common than not in common. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I get what, like,
That's what I'm
you
throwing out there.
usually
So people,
gravitate towards people who share those similar
exactly.
ideas.
And no one's perfect. You're not going to share anything with everybody. Like me, a lot of my best friends like Kingdom Hearts. Yes, I'm watching their skulls morph into a cone shape, but they're still my friends and I appreciate them.
Hi, Brandon.
Hey, I'm playing Kingdom Hearts. I
Hi.
like to play as Sora. I don't
Shut
know.
up, Joey.
I don't know.
Shut up.
I don't know why they all sound like kind of like Pee Wee Herman almost.
That's what I was like. I don't know where this
Hey,
voice.
you guys, or like Sloth on the Goonies. Like, yeah. Just ask the people you associate yourself with. I mean, because usually if they're actually friends, they'll tell you. They'll tell you.
No, I hate you. What?
I keep you around to make myself feel better. And then you know that maybe they're a bad friend. Two things: bad friend, or you are that terrible of a person.
I guess this kind of got sparked because somebody who I used to be extremely good friends with, I saw the other day, they did not see me, and I felt bad because they don't look like they're doing too great. And I'm like, well, I extracted myself from that situation because that individual was kind of being really toxic, very hypocritical, couldn't move past certain things in their life. And I'm like, I'm getting older. I'm trying to be more of an adult. I'm getting married. Like, I don't have room for this type of negativity in my life. And it was a very hard decision to be like, well, do I continue to try to help this person after, a decade? They just didn't want help. And then to see that things aren't going great, I'm like, well, am I a bad person? Like, doing what is right for me, does that make me a bad person or a good person? Because it's like,
that's what's right for you, and every perspective is different, and perspective is good and bad is different. But also, I mean, I'll be honest.
I had
I
extreme.
do the same thing.
I
I'll
mean, I
see
had
people who I'm
extreme.
good friends with, and I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you when I'm in the middle of a Walmart wearing gym shorts and a tank top with a box of Tostino's pizza rolls under my arm. I don't want you to see this. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk to you about this. And we're still good friends. So it's like that's not unnatural to do.
I don't know. Part of me is like, it's not my problem. But then another part of me was like, maybe you could have helped. And I'm like, well, it didn't help for like the 5-10 years that you were
And
trying.
that is exactly where it is. You
Yeah.
did your part. If it didn't turn out, if nothing changed, that's on them. You did your part. You're moving on. You got a nice house. You got a nice wife. Your wife's sometimes nice to me, and not really to me. Is she ever nice to anyone?
Beep.
The episode just ends, and there's just a long
You just hear the
beep,
door get kicked in.
followed by like
Wait. No, we love you.
followed by like gunfire and smashing of like a battle axe or a hammer. Just like all of us are dead.
I guess if I'm not nice, you don't need your feet, do
Yeah.
you?
Oh, you don't need your feet if I'm not nice. Start sawing them off, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, all right, guys, thanks for listening. Always love to have you listening. If hey, be safe out there. See you next episode.